everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're stepping right back into the chilling, dark waters of 1912 to investigate one of the most infamous events in human history, the sinking of the RMS Titanic. We're going to navigate our way through the dense fog of conspiracies, myths, and grounded historical facts that have surrounded this legendary ship for well over a century. Let's get right into it.
So, let's kick things off with the ultimate question, the one that literally still haunts history buffs today. Was the Titanic disaster really an accident? While the accepted narrative is, of course, a tragic collision with an iceberg, there's this swirling vortex of theories out there suggesting something way more sinister was actually at play. We're going to unpack the evidence and separate the deep-sea fiction from the cold, hard facts.
All right, Section 1, the Olympic ship switch.
Now, this is wild. The Olympic switch theory basically claims that the ship sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic right now isn't actually the Titanic at all. Theorists argue that J.P. Morgan's White Star Line took Titanic's older sister ship, the RMS Olympic, which, by the way, had just been damaged in a crash, and secretly swapped their identities. The supposed motive? To deliberately sink the broken ship and cash in on a massive insurance payout. I mean, it sounds like an amazing movie plot, right? But does it actually hold any water?
Well, putting on our myth-busting hats for a second, the historical evidence pretty much obliterates this idea. When experts actually go down and look at the wreckage, they've found the ship's specific build number, which is 401, stamped right into massive structural pieces deep underwater. The Olympic was build number 400. Plus, the two ships actually had completely different structural layouts that experts can easily spot on the ocean floor. So physically speaking, this theory sinks fast.
Moving right along, Section 2, missing binoculars and ignored warnings.
Okay, so a huge point of operational failure you always hear about centers on the fact that the lookouts up in the crow's nest didn't even have binoculars. What happened was there was this last-minute crew shakeup, and Second Officer David Blair got transferred off the ship right before it sailed, and he accidentally took the key to the binocular locker with him in his pocket. Literally just walked off with it. But here's the catch. Maritime experts actually point out that on that specific night, it was pitch black and perfectly calm. Binoculars probably wouldn't have helped them spot the iceberg any sooner than the naked eye anyway. The real danger was way bigger than just a missing key.
The real tragedy of that night was, honestly, compounded by massive, unbelievable operational negligence. The crew actually received multiple telegraph warnings from other ships right in the area, like the SS Californian, saying, hey, there are dense ice fields directly in your path, and they just completely ignored them. They didn't slow the ship down, and they kept going at near top speed through incredibly dangerous waters. Add that staggering hubris to a moonless night, and an ocean so weirdly calm and glassy that it actually obscured the white water breaking at the base of the icebergs, and you've got a recipe for absolute disaster.
So, when we weigh this myth of intentional sabotage up against the cold truth, a completely different and frankly chilling reality emerges. The historical record absolutely does not point to some deliberate setup or someone wanting the ship to hit the ice. No. The truth, which is backed up by rigorous investigations, points straight to tragic negligence and horribly poor operational conditions. It was a cascade of completely ordinary human errors mixed with an immense amount of overconfidence that ultimately doomed the unsinkable ship.
Which brings us to Section 3, a planned disaster.
Now, the mastermind claim throws out a truly sinister theory. It suggests that incredibly powerful individuals planned this whole disaster specifically to wipe out their rivals who happened to be on board. Theorists almost always point the finger at financier J.P. Morgan, claiming he orchestrated this calculated, cold-blooded assassination plot to get rid of wealthy guys who opposed the creation of the Federal Reserve. We're talking about men like John Jacob Astor, Benjamin Guggenheim, and Isidor Straus. Essentially, This theory turns the world's greatest ocean liner into a giant floating trap for the era's financial elite.
But, once again,